Hello, my name is Richard Benishai, and I have been a geobiologist for the past 22 years, teaching in 8 different countries and doing many harmonizations. And in this presentation, I will try to show you that sleeping well is a possibility. The problems with the sleeping is that going to sleep as well as sleeping, as well as waking up, is a difficult possibility. When you have a lot of tiredness, when you wake up in the morning, you are very tired because your body has been fighting all the time during your sleep. You have difficulty in sleeping, you have continuous stress, and you are continuously sick. Okay. When you are sleeping, you can see that you have a lot of things that can influence your sleep. One of the major things is underground currents and faults, as well as Curry and Hartman lines. You can see here that on the right side of the picture, you have a child sleeping, but he moved out of the faults, which is on the bottom of his bed. And that's how you find him in the morning. This is how you find also babies. When babies are old enough to move, then they can move even with their legs outside of the crib. They have the feet hanging outside the crib. And that's because they're escaping the negative energy of the faults or underground current. And unfortunately, what happens is that if the child is too small to move, like 2-3 months old, then he cannot move out of the location where the fault is or the current is, and so he's going to fight until he's going to stop fighting, and this is what you call sudden infant death. The baby actually dies from fighting, from his system fighting. And when the mother takes the baby that's crying in the arms, then he stops to cry because he's been removed from that location. Okay. What are the causes for having difficulties in sleeping? Well, first thing is you have underground currents. The second thing is underground faults. The third thing, you have the electromagnetic systems, networks. These are Hartman and Curry, basically. And the last thing is something that several people do not know or not aware of, is that they are sleeping on cosmotelluric chimneys. Let's examine each one individually. Okay, this is your underground current representation. You can see the bottom part that there is underground current running, of course, underground, and where you can see the sides of the current. You have arrows, and at this point, this is the largest negative energy points. You can see the two spikes, which are way above the 10 millivolt level. And this creates the problem. This is the problem, because mostly we have this, we have the negative influence of gamma rays. Gamma rays are originating from outer space, mostly from the universe in total, from the sun, from the other planets. These are gamma rays. Gamma rays are very powerful. They can penetrate anything on the planet. They can even penetrate lead. And these gamma rays are very powerful. They're very small. They have the size, let's see if we compare it to the size of a grain of rice. And with this grain of rice, we have a mass which is equivalent to that of a tank. So just think of the relationship there. These gamma rays penetrate the earth and continue to penetrate the earth. They penetrate our bodies and they continue to toward the earth. At some point, we have gamma rays are hitting underground currents or underground water. And this is the one thing that's going to reflect them, because of the particles which are in the water. When you have some small particles, well, keep in mind that these particles in the water, like minerals, are even small. They're larger, much larger than the gamma rays. And as a result, the gamma rays bounce off these small particles in the water. If you have pure water with no particles in it, then the gamma rays will continue. But once there are particles in the water, they will be reflected. And what happens is that the energy of the gamma ray, the force behind this gamma ray, is going to be lowered by about 70% due to the bouncing off of the water. And when the gamma ray bounces off and returns, it's going to now hit a person, and the water contents in the person's body is now going to block off the gamma rays. It's going to block it. And when the gamma ray is blocked off inside the body, then because the gamma ray is a ionizing particle, then this gamma ray is going to lodge into a cell, a human cell, and it's going to radiate. The radiation now is going to be so strong that it's going to change the ADN, is going to change the structure of this cell. As a result, when we have several of these defective cells, we have a growth, a cancerous growth. This is what happens. Okay, let's see. Let's talk about faults now. Faults are something that happen in nature due to the movement of the tectonic plates. Usually, when we look at a street, when we look at a field, we do not see faults. It's only when we cut the stone, when we cut the face of a hill in order to make a road, we can see the fault very clearly. These faults are very, very negative. They are even more negative than underground currents. Fortunately, there are less faults on this planet than there are currents. Water currents are everywhere. Even in the desert, you will find water currents, but the faults are not everywhere. And when we build a house, we have no idea that there's underground current. We have no idea there are faults under. But we build a house. And after a few years of living on such things, then we become sick. So the third thing we talk about is electromagnetic networks such as Hartman and Curry. And they are very, very negative also. They are very negative, yeah. And we're not to ignore them. We're not to ignore them. Their influence can change the characteristics of the human cells and change the electric consistency of the cells itself, the nature of the cell. So we're not to, fortunately, we have a method of canceling the negative effects of these networks by simply reciting the few words as part of the ceremony that we work with. And when we say those few words, which takes about 5 seconds, automatically the negativity of these lines is transformed to positivity. So it's not something that we have to work a lot on just to understand their nature, and the work is done. Yeah, it's very simple. All right, this is something more complex. They're called cosmotelluric chimneys, and the chimneys are all over the world, all over. Every place where you have people, you're going to have chimneys. Well, the reason for this is that people pollute continuously the planet. Yeah. When the Creator planned the planet, there were just animals, no people. And everything was positive, supposedly. I wasn't there, but supposedly. And as a result, when men came along, things started to turn negative. So the chimneys were created by the planet in order to clean itself. They are not visible to the normal human eye. Some people can see them, but if they are capable of doing. Okay, we said about the chimneys, the cosmotelluric chimneys, that their function is to clean the planet, because men, ever since man has been on this planet, the negativity has been implanted in the earth. Before that, there was no negativity, so there was no need. But since we are on this planet, we have done nothing but polluted this earth. Okay, so the chimneys are created by the planet itself. The earth creates its own chimneys. These chimneys are invisible, but they can be detected. It can be detected by antennas, by the hand, They can be detected by looking at them. Some people can look and see them. Okay. Now, these chimneys are normally very negative in houses. One time I have found a positive chimney in somebody's home, but this was a special home with a person doing some special work there. This is the only time out of maybe more than 1,000 homes that I worked on, then this was the only case. Usually you'll find the negative chimneys are on the bed of the person. They are located in the salon, the living room. They can be in the office of a person. It can be anywhere where a person is going to either sleep or view television or reside. That's where you're going to find they're going to be attracted to the person. For example, if you have an empty home for like 3, 4, 5 months, the chimneys were there will disappear and go look for another place. If you are building a home, then for the first few months after the house has been completed and the people have moved in, there will be no chimneys. In other words, the chimneys are attracted by the people, by their presence. If there are no people, there are no chimneys. So, well, finally, we can say that chimneys are very destructive in nature because they pull out the energy from our body. And this is one reason why when we wake up in the morning, we feel very tired. Yeah, you have trouble going to sleep if you sleep on a chimney, and you have trouble when you're waking up. You're not refreshed. You're very tired. Yeah, my method in teaching. If you want to sleep well, okay, you have to eliminate the problems or the causes of your disturbed sleep. Okay, so you have to do a complete harmonization of your house. All right, and the way that I teach this, for example, is you have to detect all the problem elements, geopathic elements, like water, faults, Curry and Hartmann lines, and also chimneys. You're going to measure all the different parameters that are involved. And the thing that we do after, or that I do after, is to correct all these problems. And this is what I teach. And then we're going to eliminate all these negative energies of all types. And we're going to do this without moving or changing anything in the house. That's a big plus, okay? We don't bring anything in the house like some people bring some special earth, or I even have a friend who brings stones to different houses. And there is nothing touched, nothing added, nothing removed. This is the way that we do the work. Thank you for listening, and you have here my details if you want to contact me. Have a good day.